Just 3 weeks after the nation saw the disturbing footage of Tyre Nichols' violent arrest, the 5 former Memphis police officers involved pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges. Nichols' mother and stepfather were in the courtroom with their attorney, Ben Crump. Bradley Blackburn reports from New York.
I'm waiting for somebody to wake me up.
The family of Tyre Nichols addressed the media moments after the 5 former Memphis police officers accused of killing him made their first court appearance.
We have to start this process of justice right now. And I want each and every one of those police officers to be able to look me in the face.
The officers looked straight ahead as they pleaded not guilty to second-degree murder and other charges.
At this time, we waive the formal reading of the indictment off to the court, a plea of not guilty.
The 29-year-old died in a hospital just 3 days after being pulled over and brutally beaten by the black officers in an incident caught on camera.
When you look at the video, there was no dignity there.
Nichols is the latest police-involved death to spark nationwide outrage and protests. The Nichols family and their attorneys have also raised questions about police culture and training.
Who Tyre was what you saw in that video. While everybody else was escalating it, using excessive force, Tyre was de-escalating, trying to do everything in his power to remain calm.
An attorney for one of the officers charged previewed his defense.
This is a country where black people are incarcerated at 5 times the rate of white people. A country where black people are 7.5 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of murder than white people.
The 5 officers involved in Nichols' death are all out on bond and are due back in court in May.
2 other Memphis police officers have also been relieved of duty as a result of the attack, as well as 3 fire department employees who responded to the scene. The Shelby County, Tennessee District Attorney says there is now a review of every case, both open and closed, involving the 5 former Memphis police officers charged with Tyre Nichols' death. Meanwhile, another man has come forward, accusing those same officers of a similar attack just 3 days before Nichols was beaten. Elise Preston has details of his lawsuit.
1 month after Tyre Nichols' death following this brutal beating in Memphis, another man has come forward claiming he was beaten and arrested by the same 5 officers, now charged with second-degree murder.
Those are the same 5 officers.
Montarius Harris has filed a $5 million lawsuit against the officers and the city of Memphis, claiming they attacked him just 3 days earlier.
At the point where the officer, he was like, stop reaching for the gun, and I knew that I didn't have a gun, I really wasn't sure.
The 22-year-old was booked on a gun possession charge as a convicted felon and spent several days in jail. The district attorney is now reviewing all cases involving the 5 officers. Former Shelby County prosecutor Josh Corman says the review is warranted.
The prosecutor is going to have to look at those cases, probably all of those cases on a case-by-case basis, to figure out if those are cases that they can still meet their burden of proof.
Internal disciplinary documents obtained by CBS News reveal more about the officer's encounter with Nichols. Demetrius Haley can be heard shouting that Nichols tried to grab one of the officer's guns.
He grabbed my gun.
Justin Smith and Tadarius Bean are accused of punching Nichols several times and holding his arms while other officers assaulted him. Smith was the only officer to defend his actions on the record, stating that he propped Nichols up against the squad car after the violent struggle so he could breathe better and called for medical assistance. Attorneys for the 5 charged officers had no comment on the lawsuit. They are due in court on the criminal charges for the first time next week.
Many emotions and trauma have resurfaced following the murder of Tyre Nichols. Some people saying it could have been me. Researchers call that connection linked fate. It's the concept of members of an ethnic group or background identifying with one another. It's commonly linked to intergenerational trauma, a form of PTSD. Counselors say members of the Black community have increased linked fate, which they describe as going further than empathy.
Not only am I walking in those footsteps, but I can almost see myself in that situation. I can see my brother, I can see my cousin, I can see my child.
He was calling out for his mom, and that just will tear any mother to pieces.
Counselors say there are different ways to cope with this form of trauma. One way is to be open and honest about your feelings. If you're feeling distressed, please reach out to a mental health professional.